The Pack is back. Hey everybody, welcome to Elite Athletes TV. I'm Mike Pulaski, 11-year pro quarterback and quarterbacks coach here at Elite Athletes TV. And today we have some exciting news about Pac-12 football. First, if you love football content, love learning about the game, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, that way you get notified every time we have new content coming out. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to hear the details about Pac-12 football this fall. And leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. You guys have been chiming in. Love to hear from you. And I try to answer everybody back that gets in. So leave me a comment. Pac-12 is back. The vote is supposed to happen tomorrow, but I have talked to my college football sources and from different Pac-12 schools, and Pac-12 is coming back this fall. It took the Big Ten getting back in, SEC, ACC, all standing up to begin with, Big 12 standing up to begin with going ahead with their football season. But the Big Ten was that final card to turn over, and the Pac-12 is back. Now, what does that mean? Well, John Wilner does some good stuff on this, so if you haven't read his stuff, you should definitely check it out. I'll put a link down in the description section down below so you can see some of his articles. Really good stuff. According to different sources around the conference, USC, those guys, and UCLA, those guys, have already been in contact with LA County so that they can get the waiver so that they can hold games. Remember, in the state of California right now, there was a big debate the other day. Gavin Newsom came out and said, they can go ahead and play. There's nothing holding them back from having a season. Well, except for the whole you can't work out in a cohort of more than 12 people thing. Well, apparently that has been cleared up throughout the state. The California schools, which would be SC, UCLA, Cal, and Stanford, are going to be cleared that they're going to be able to work out in team settings. Now, remember, with the list that I put up on my last video of what the requirements were for indoor businesses and everything else, it was just one reported case for 100,000 people, which meant only 400 people in the state of California, whether they're hospitalized or not, could be reported with COVID on that day for it to be code yellow, which then said indoor businesses with some modifications. So they're going to get a waiver for football. Remember, with football, you can keep people in the bubble for the most part. You can keep them kind of sheltered in. Plus, the new partnership with the rapid response testing is a game changer for making sure that you diagnose any cases coming in. The other thing that I think we need to talk about, that it's been blown out of perspective in the media and that everybody is freaking out about it, is if you have a group of people that don't have COVID, if you don't introduce COVID to that group, nobody's going to get it. And so it's become this boogeyman thing, and I get it. We don't want to spread it to people outside, but if you're keeping a group inside, just like the NBA did, putting everybody in a bubble, and keeping outside exposure down to an absolute minimum with rapid response testing, then you're going to be safe from contracting or passing the virus, because if it's not there, if it doesn't exist, it's not going to come up out of thin air. So, science. Here's what the Pac-12 season is going to look like. Right now, they're looking at shooting for an October 31st date. Now, I know in conversations around the conference that a lot of people would like to get back in ahead of that. There's a question about how many games you need to become eligible for the college football playoffs. There's a question about how they can get that in time. If they start October 31st, that gives them 8 weeks until they can have a championship game in the Pac-12 on December 19th. You could, it's been a weird year, push it back. TV is king, and TV kind of rules everything. But you could always push college football playoffs back a little bit to let some of these schools get in on the mix, give them an extra week or 2 weeks to get it done. But what that'll do is that will mess up timing, because if you push the Pac-12 championship game back, are you going to play it the day after Christmas? That would be odd. Are you going to push it back to New Year's? You're in bowl season, and who knows what that's going to look like at this point. And so there's a lot of scheduling things going on. I'm going to have an interview coming up with a Pac-12 administrator next week, hopefully, talking about all the logistics that have to take place in order to get college football back underway in the Pac-12. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And so be on the lookout for that one. But 8 weeks, 8 games for Pac-12 schools, no buys, trying to get to a conference championship. Obviously, coaches want all the time in the world to get their teams ready, to get their teams prepped. Coaches are saying that they need 5 weeks to get ready. Now, in California, these schools have been working out in their 12-person cohort. So these athletes are actually in shape. The athletes that are on it, that have been working, are in shape, ready to play. At least to go to camp, not to play football, but to go to camp. Through the course of football, for as long as I've been around college football, there was no hitting in the summer. Nobody's in pads. Nobody's hitting each other. And so you come back to camp, hopefully in peak physical condition, and then you put on the pads and you hit for 2 weeks. When I was playing, we ran double days. Double days are kind of a thing of the past for college football these days. And so we would get, over the course of 2 weeks, about 22 padded practices in which there was some form of contact. Guys getting ready for it, guys getting ready to hit, guys, handling the different rigors of playing with pads on. So now I know they don't hit as much. Now they don't have as much time to spend on it in camp as we used to. But you could shorten that window and give some allowances, maybe a little bit of an old school camp, and shorten that window down. So rather than 5 weeks, maybe you go at 4 weeks or 3 weeks. If they could go at 4 weeks or 3 weeks and potentially get a season started 1 week earlier, in that week on the 23rd of October, now that gives you 9 weeks. Make sure you get all those games in. You'll match what the Big Ten is trying to do. If you have a team that's ready, that shows up, that shows that they're worthy of it, then you have something to say about the college football playoffs. So the further you push that back, the less likely it looks like the Pac-12 will be part of it. But getting up and going, getting a season underway, trying to get in those 8 games so they can be eligible for that playoff picture is a huge thing. I'm just happy for the athletes. I talk to these guys from time to time. I know what it feels like when that's your sport. As an athlete, it becomes your entire focus. And that's what you're about. Yeah, they have outside things going on. They have family. They have academics, everything else. But your persona, your identity is being a football player. And when you snatch that away, it leads to other issues, mental health issues. You heard Dak Prescott talking about depression in the offseason, sitting at home. A lot of people are going through that. And so I think, and the reason that I think football is back, science. If you look at the median age of COVID deaths around the country, it's like 65, 67. When we're talking about that age group of college football players, we're talking about an age group of guys that are healthy. They're in peak physical condition. They don't have a lot of comorbidities. And it's good for the country to have college football, to have our teams back, to be able to celebrate something. Hopefully, college football can be part of the healing process. Hopefully, these athletes stay safe. I think it's going to be wonderful to have college football back. I know personally I'm looking forward to it. Pac-12 guy all the way. And I love the Pac-12, love watching the Pac-12, love calling Pac-12 games. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy for you guys at home that we get more college football to watch. I appreciate the SEC, appreciate the ACC, appreciate the Big 12 and all the other schools out there that went ahead, forged ahead, and created the opportunity for all the college athletes to play college football this fall. So bravo to you, bravo to the athletic directors, because that's a hard decision to make, and bravo to the Big 10 and Pac-12 for getting back on board. I appreciate you watching. Remember, subscribe, ring that bell, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, give me your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon.